Hi guys and welcome to this year's Old School Haunter DIY Easter special. I have to admit, I struggled a bit this time to find a cool project for this year's Easter, but finally I found one. Namely, we are building this awesome pavilion for our Easter bunny. Our Easter bunny lies in the middle in a hammock and relaxes after doing all the hard Easter work. In this project I use a lot of scrap wood that is left over from my Halloween projects, so I had to buy very little. The only thing I had to buy was the plywood for the roof. But now enough for the introduction, let's go to the garage and start the project. So alright, these parts are used to create the floor of the pavilion. In the end, the floor will have a form of a hexagon. Before I can start creating the floor, I will cut these wooden boards down to 85 cm. Then I will glue them together, and after the glue has dried, I can cut out the hexagon. Here you can see the bottom view. I will attach 2 additional cross braces to give stability. And the top side will get a sanding, so it is smooth at the end. Alright, while the glue of the base plate dries, I take care of the other woods here and cut them to length and give it a sanding. Let's create the base. The base of the pavilion will end up being a hexagon. For this we make a small excursion in geometry back to school. First I look for the center point of a circle. Then I draw a circle with the radius of 40 cm. For a hexagon, the sides outside are exactly as long as the radius. So I draw the 6 points on the outside of the circle with a distance of 40 cm each. Then I simply connect these points and the hexagon is ready. columns on the corners then stand in this direction on the base plate. And for this reason, the columns now need a bevel cut. So then it is flush on the right and on the left side, because at the moment the wooden beam is overhanging on the side. And that's exactly what's coming now. And because we have a hexagon as a base here, that means we have a 60-degree angle at the corners, and that's why we now have to cut off a 30-degree bevel from the columns on the left and on the right side. This will be the column in the middle of the roof. The column also has a 6-cornered shape, which I have drawn on the wood. Then I can set the saw blade to a 30 degrees angle and cut the bevels of the wood accordingly. And in the end, the column gets another tip at the angle of the roof slope, and in my case the roof has a slope of an angle of 41 degrees. It's alright, I'm done with cutting all the wood, so I have all the parts for assembling. I'll already give it a light sand, and the only thing I have to sand again is the base. There I filled up some gaps, as you see, so that's why I have to sand it again. And in the meantime I will start painting the wood here. This will take me a while because of all the small parts here, but yeah, that's the next step, so let's go. So alright, I'm done with the painting, and I painted the parts of the base frame, and I already painted the base, and before painting it I give it a light sanding so it's relatively smooth. So next up I'm going to assemble the whole thing. The columns must be able to be aligned properly later. But how do we do that? Well, first I draw small guidelines between the opposite corners. I use these to better align the columns later. Then I mark the center of the column . And here you can see how the center of the column is aligned on the guideline on the base plate. And now the alignment of the column fits. So alright, the columns are in place. Next up, I will attach the top frame like this, and it's very easy. The length is the same as from this point to this point, and at the end this wood will get a diagonal cut, and it depends how you want to measure the angel. It's a 30-degree or 60-degree angel. So let's go and attach the top frame. So alright, next up I will build the base frame for the roof, and therefore I will add a diagonal piece of wood, and the length is 80 centimeter, so from this point to this point, and in the center I will attach another column here, and this column is used to attach the final roof. So the diagonal piece of wood will get miter cut at both sides, so it will fit under the roof at the end. So yeah, that's up next. So the roof is made of 6mm plywood, and let me show you something. This is the best sheet of plywood I could get from the hardware store. Isn't this terrible? So anyway, I don't tell you which hardware store I went for it. So let's come to the roof. It's relatively easy, you can construct it. So you have to measure from the top to this point. In my case it is 46 centimeter, and now we know at this point we have a width of 40 centimeter, and that's all we need to construct the triangles for the roof. So let's go for it. So alright, as you saw, the plywood is a little bit bent. I will glue some wooden slats at the bottom to support the plywood and bring it back to its normal shape. For the attachment of the roof panels, I attach a frame around the top. The wood already has a bevel cut on one side at the angle of the roof pitch. These slats also have a length of 40 cm and now get another miter cut at both ends. So basically it's like sawing floor trims. So alright, the slats for the support frame are in place, they are screwed from the bottom, and now it's time to attach the roof triangles. And this is very simple because I use some wood glue here to glue the plywood sheet into place. And the distance from this point to the bottom is 7.5 centimeters. So alright, I'm done with the roof, and honestly I have to say I'm not really happy about it, because on the one hand I had an error in my calculations about the size of the triangles, and on the other hand those sheets of plywood are so bent that they bend up at the bottom edge here. So it doesn't really fit anyway. So anyway, I will cover those openings here using such half pipes here, and I will attach it from the top. And those half pipes are created from electrical installation pipes, in my case 20 millimeters in diameter, and I will cut them in half and attach them from the top. So alright, now it's time to create the railing, and the railing is attached to 5 sides, so one side is open, and the railing is very easy to create. I use 2 pieces of wood and add a 30-degree angle cut on both sides, so we have one at the bottom and one at the top on this side, and in between we have those railing bars here. And I will use some small nails to shoot this thing together. So very simple, and yeah, let's go and get this thing done. So right, as the last step, I will attach the railing this way, and the railing will be attached at 5 sides. One side will be opened, and at the bottom I have some space of 2 centimeters, and I was thinking a little bit about how I can attach the railing, because it must be possible to remove the railing again when I take the whole thing down after Easter. So I came up with a simple solution. I will drill some holes at the bottom this way, add some screws, and I'm done. So in the center of our pavilion, our Easter bunny, our Easter rabbit, lies in a hammock, and to create this hammock I will use some simple fabric here, and I will keep it very simple. And I placed our rabbit here, add another 10 centimeter at the bottom and at the top, cut out a rectangle, and at the ends I will add some ribbon here, so I can hang the hammock between the columns of the pavilion. So alright, at the top I will add a small tip here, and I haven't had a better idea than using the top of my glue bottle, and I cut it away, give it a white paint, glue in a PVC ribbon, add a screw, and this way I can screw it from the top, and then I will add the original closure, and it's done. Alright, the finished pavilion is now integrated into the rest of the Easter decoration. Doesn't it look nicely in the garden? Whereas so much decoration is not at all present at Easter. At least I have one more decorative element now. Next to the pavilion you can see the Easter special from the last year, and I will link you at the end of the video. The project was a lot of fun to do, and I learned a lot of things for my next projects. One thing I'm not really happy about is the roof. And I think I will rebuild it one time, and if I do so, I will provide an update video to show you all the changes I will make. The project itself was already a bit more complex, but in the end, you know, the pavilion can also stand as a year-round decoration in the garden. So we reached the end of this video, and of course I would be very happy if you give me a thumbs up. If you have questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And very important, don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the further updates here on my channel. For today I say thanks for watching, until next time, and Happy Easter!